think my Warhammer Plus reviews have finally run their course. No longer will you receive my weekly balanced, but hopefully fair videos on Games Workshop's streaming service. Sorry, not streaming service, club. I will still be releasing hobby videos, so I'm not going anywhere, I'm just stopping these ones. So let me explain why I started making these videos in the first place and why I'm bringing it to an end. Warhammer Plus was announced last year and immediately showed a lot of promise for me. The sizzle reel, well, sizzled. The price was great, and it looked like we were getting all these great shows straight off the bat. GW is a huge company, so they would have tons of content lined up and tons more in the pipeline, right? Well, totally wrong. Absolutely, totally wrong. The launch day was good. We had like 4 animations, three Hammer and Bolters and 1 Angels of Death, and we had a masterclass and a battle report. We didn't get lore masters until much later, but for one day, that was a really good amount of content. We had a lot to watch. After that, we got maybe 1 or 2 shows a week, and it just went right downhill. There was absolutely nothing to watch sometimes. The content was just drip fed and it was painfully slow. I think in the early days we all thought there were a few teething problems, but Games Workshop would get their act together, but as it went on, we thought maybe this is their strategy, that we're only ever going to get 2 shows a week and an animation every now and again. I still don't know if that was the strategy, and maybe people power changed it around, but it wasn't good enough anyway. When it was announced, it looked like we would have loads of different animations to watch, and maybe a few series would run in parallel, but that could not be any further from reality. It wasn't anything close to what I wanted or expected. I know that sounds a bit entitled, but I am a paying customer, so I did what any budding YouTuber would do, threw the toys out the pram, and started ranting. I wanted to be fair, so I gave credit where it was due, but I also didn't pull any punches when I felt so shortchanged by the whole thing. It seems I wasn't alone either, because loads of like-minded people thought the same or brought up new points to ponder. I have to say, getting to chat to a lot of you has been one of the best parts of this whole experience. I do know that I run a small channel, I'm not daft, I don't think I've got very much pull or clout or whatever it is the kids call it these days, but I do think the community played a small part in getting things improved for Warhammer Plus. Because of the good quality discussions that were going on in the comments, eventually Games Workshop's community team reached out and they said they were watching the videos and taken a lot of stuff on board, and a lot of the stuff that was mentioned would be changed, so that was great. I do feel like we had a bit of a hand in that. They said they'd taken feedback on board, and whether it was from this channel or across the board, I don't care, it was still worthwhile, and it's got Warhammer Plus going in a direction that I'm happy with anyway. They've implemented a lot of these changes already, most notably launching a roadmap, although it's probably time for another, and they've got loads of stuff on the horizon. Got new presenters in so that they can film more stuff at a time, and they're going to release 1 of each show a week, and they changed the animation release schedule to once every fortnight. Although that isn't obviously as good as releasing 1 a week, it's still a defined schedule, you know when something's coming, and I think that's better than what we were getting, which was 1 animation, 3 weeks off, 3 animations, 4 weeks off. We actually went, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks without an animation, and that was just ridiculous. This whole service was meant to be based on the animations, in my opinion. I think kind of the mission statement changed after it was launched when they realised how few animations they would have ready. In my opinion, this was an animation service. I think in our hobby sometimes there's no middle ground. Either people are really positive about it or they're really negative. There doesn't seem to be that bit in the middle where maybe you can be a bit balanced about things. Too often people are just so extreme about things that they love and hate, and in this case it's GW. I've probably had equal amounts of hate and vitriol from GW fans and haters, so I must be doing something right. If I'm being perfectly honest though, there wasn't that much. It didn't bother me at all. I'm a big boy. Put my big boy pants on, so I can handle it. Now the 3D printing guys, they really know how to make you feel crappy. If I was GW, I'd be so happy to read a comment section that was kinda constructive and gave a lot of good ideas, rather than just being overly praising or overly hateful, because that doesn't really give you any good information at all. There is a section of the internet that is dedicated to bringing them down. And as for the Games Workshop can do no wrong crowd, of course they can. Have you seen Kragnos's face? More seriously, it does seem that they can be their own worst enemy at times. Now, it's quite difficult to separate fact from fiction when it comes to Games Workshop. What I do know for certain is that announcing a big price hike on the back of 2 bumper years over the pandemic was not a good look. All those of us who were sitting at home and we still supported Games Workshop, still put our cash towards miniatures and things like that, all we got for it was more costly miniatures at the end of it. So with all the cost of living increases recently, Guess what will take a back seat first? It won't be my heating, and yes, I have had to use my heating in June. I do live in Scotland. It won't be my food. It'll be the wee plastic guys that are becoming harder and harder to justify to the wife. So anyway, back to Warhammer Plus. If I had so much fun making these videos, why am I stopping? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, I don't think the videos offer that much to people anymore. I used to do a little chat segment at the start of every video, detailing all the good things and the bad things that had happened with Warhammer Plus over the last week, as well as my opinion on a lot of stuff. And since it's business as usual with Warhammer Plus now, really, there's not that much to chat about. I was beginning to bore myself with Battle Report. Yep, great production values, great back and forth between the presenters, and then Warhammer Vault. Yep, good books in Warhammer Vault this week. Lore Masters, could have been longer. Masterclass, yep, learned something, great. Even the animation reviews had become tricky because I was trying not to spoil anything for other viewers. There isn't much to rant about anymore, everything's in a pretty good place with multiple presenters for each show. Warhammer Vault I'd say is an A+. Masterclass and Battle Report I'd give them an A. Lore Masters would be a B. Animations range from an A+ to a D for the Exodite. So the A+ would be for Angels of Death. Don't know why I really hated the Exodite. Reason 2, I don't want to be pigeonholed as a Warhammer Plus YouTuber. I think I've got a lot to offer the hobby. I know I'm not the best painter, but people do seem to enjoy my more basic painting videos. It could be the difference between starting the hobby or not starting the hobby, as arrogant as that sounds, but a few people have told me that they've started because they watched one of my videos, so it does make me feel good. I used to do a lot of unboxings and kit reviews and things like that. I don't do them anymore, so I'm going to go back to that kind of stuff because I enjoyed doing that, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it as well. Without having to do the Warhammer Plus video every week, I'll have a lot more energy to direct towards other projects, so hopefully I'll get a lot more painting videos, a lot more unboxings, a lot more little 3D projects and that kind of thing. They were easy to do in a period where I didn't have much time and I needed to release a video every week to appease the algorithm, so they kind of made me a wee bit lazy. Here's probably the main one, and this might sound strange to a lot of people. I didn't like putting a clickbaitily negative title on all my videos, because if I put in any way a positive title on it, views would be down, dislikes would be way up, and the video would just get trashed. So there was no point in doing a positive video. If you put a negative title on something, views are up, likes are up. I just didn't like that. I don't think it's good for the soul just to be that negative all the time. So there's plenty of channels out there that are just 100% negative about Games Workshop. I don't want to be that. Hobbies are meant to be fun and a bit of an escape, and being negative all the time is not fun for me, so I'm not going to do it. Yes, it might affect my growth, it might affect the views I get, but I don't care. I'd rather be a beacon of positivity rather than just be excessively negative all the time. So I hope you understand. I still want to do reviews of animation series after they've finished their runs, and I will pick up the odd episode here and there if it's been a really good one as well. So Warhammer Plus isn't totally gone from the channel, just the weekly reviews. If you've been in a bit of a hobby slump recently, watch this video. Thanks for watching, happy hobbying, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.